What up? What's going on? It's your boy, Junior Car Certified High Performance Coach, and this is Sunday Conversation. Yo, what's up? Hit replay for me. Hashtag replay if you're watching this right now, because that means that you saw this on the replay. We're going to talk some really important stuff here today, and I really just want to talk to you about something. Today, I'm not just going to recount my comeback from injury, and I want to be able to teach you something that works for yourself from my pain, that will work from you in order for you to be able to build from whatever breakdown it is in your life. Because no matter what in your life, no matter what you're going through in your life, we're all facing a breakdown in some areas. Still for me, still to this moment, still to this day, it still is with that. You know, a year ago, I was in the hospital. And I was on IV antibiotics and weak in body, but not even strong in mind, honestly. After the year I'd had before that, I just thought maybe this might be the end. Have you ever felt like that it was the end? Have you ever felt like that in your life that, you know, maybe it's the end? Maybe it's not that. And I've been there a couple of times in my life. I really, really have. But for me, really for me, it was just like, this might be it. And so the thing is that many of you have heard parts of my story before. You know, I got an infection in my foot. Ended up, what's up, right? I got an infection in my foot, and on the IV antibiotics, fighting for my life. And had to make a choice. Had been on IV antibiotics for a month, right? For 1 month. And the doctor was like, if you stay on the IV antibiotics, it may shut down your other systems in your body. You may do permanent damage to your kidneys, different things along those lines. And so it really was a choice between life or limb. And so I had to choose to lose my limb. And so as I come up on the anniversary of the amputation, I've really been thinking about some things. And so I didn't just pray for healing when I was in that. I started asking myself some questions. So this was much further along in the process. When I went through the darkness, I went through the darkness and I was just there. And it was like, one of the real big questions I asked myself is, what am I really here to do? That's a question that I want you to phrase for yourself tonight. What am I really here to do? Like in your life. And it's okay if you don't know the answer to the question. We are trained, we're in a society right now where we feel like that we have to know the answers to whatever the things are, that we must know the answers, that we have to know. It's okay that you don't know the answer. That's fine. But what am I really here to do? A second question I want you to ask yourself. What have I been delaying? So mortality motivation is something I speak about all the time. And that is where you think about it and you say, man, facing death, facing a thing makes you more motivated to get something done. But so many times in our life, because of either physical fatigue or mental fatigue or a combination of both of them, we're delaying something in our life that we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be getting knocked out. I'm here as that voice for you to understand today that no more to that. No more to the fact that of delaying what it is that you need to do and delaying what it is that, and yes, there's delayed gratification in this life, but delaying the things it is that we was putting you for you to be able to get done, for you to be able to get knocked out. There's no need for that. And the question that I needed to answer for myself and be able to figure out was, who needs for me to be able to survive this and speak? So it's not just about survival. It's about what you do on the other side of survival. It's not just about in the breakdown, in the break, in the things that are going on with it. It's about what you actually do out of that break. See, the breaking happens, right? The breaking happens, the destruction happens in your life. That's what it is. But what is it that we're going to do to be able to put it back together? Are we going to be in a cast? Do we have to have surgery? Can we rehab it? What is the thing? What is the next thing? That's what it is. The doctors get paid lots and lots of money to be able to help you decide, to be able to help you figure out is what happens after the breaking. But in our lives, many of us have not figured that out. We just leave it in pieces and tattered and continue on. So you've had this breaking that's going on in your life. You've had this thing that's going on in your life, right? And you just leave it there. You just walk away from it as if it's going to go anywhere. And what we're doing is we're carrying around this sack of brokenness around with us, and there is no place to be able to do it. So I want to give you 3 lessons from the other side, because I've been on the other side a couple of times. Like on the other side, I know that many of you have different beliefs religion-wise, different things as far as that. But for me, I've been there to that other side, to that looking over. And that is a humbling place to be. It's a scary place to be. But it's to be able to figure out how do we do it. So, let me get you to understand this in the blueprint. You cannot heal what you hide. That's the first thing. You cannot heal what you hide. I need you to understand that, okay? So my injury to my foot was on my foot. And so it's under the bottom of my foot. And so I could try to ignore what's going on with it, just wrap it up, be able to be tough. I played football, you know what I'm saying? I'm tough. I can make it through it. And ultimately, that caused even more breakdown, more issues, and led to the issues that ended up costing me my leg, okay? You can't heal what you hide. There are things in you right now that are eating at you, destroying you. And because we hide them, there's things that are in me still to this moment that are eating at me, destroying me. And because we hide them, then there's nowhere to go. There's no way to be able to heal it, because we can't heal what we hide. Truth telling is the start of a transformation. When we tell ourselves the truth, when we tell the truth about what it is that we're dealing with, then that's the start of, you cannot transform without truth. You know, we look at all the time in the products that we create. We want to create things that teach, that transform, and that transcend. But you have to start with the truth ahead of that. You have to be able to tell the truth before you can ever teach about it, before you can ever transform anyone, before you can ever be able to take people and transcend it. You have to be able to teach that. And so that's something that's really important, that we have to be able to figure out how. That's the how. And understand this, really that story that you're afraid to tell is the one that will set people free, including yourself. That story that you're afraid to tell is the one that's the absolute one that's going to set people free. That idea that you're afraid to do, that idea that creates fear within you, that creates that fear that you're like, oh, I don't know about that. That's actually the one. It's not that safe idea. It's not that safe thing. That safe thing that you're thinking about is not the thing that's going to change the world. It's not the thing that's going to change who it is you are. It's not the thing that's going to be able to change how it is that we do. So I don't know what it is you've been thinking about, but it was put within me, because understand, I prepare for these lives, but many times it's just what comes to me in the moment. It's the download that comes in the moment. It's not even me. So I'm saying that to you, if you're checking this out and you're watching this later or watching it live, watching it right now, just please understand that that is the truth. Let me get you to understand number 2. Your pain has a platform. Ooh, let me say it again. Your pain has a platform. Your past is not baggage, it's branding. Your past is not baggage, it is branding. When you share from the scar and not from the wound, people trust you. Ooh, let me say that again. When you share from the scar and not from the wound, people trust you. The scar has to do with the healing. The scar has to do with the things that were fixed from it. The scar has to do with there. Like right here, literally, that's a scar, okay? That's a scar. I got the zipper. I got the zipper just like my dad. All right, just like my dad. I got the zipper. But that's a scar. That's not the pain. That's not the wound. It's the scar. The scar and the healing is the thing that fixes it. It's the thing. So it's the fix that we went through. So the problem is that if we just leave the brokenness, the wound there, the wound never heals and it festers in you and you get all of the gangrene and the different things that happen with it and all the different stuff. See, I was too busy in my life. To just stop. Have you ever been too busy in your life to just stop? And then when you're too busy in your life to just stop, guess what? Life will stop you. That's the way it works. All right. So we can't be too busy for the things it is that we need to create, for the things it is that we need to be able to work on. You can't be too busy for those things and hide those things, because if you hide those things out of your sight, they will do nothing but break down. So then they break down, and then that's where we are. So that's what it was. It was the breaking down of that wound. It was the breaking down of those things that were there that stopped me. And so that's what it is. Number 3, purpose requires movement. Tony Robbins, motion creates emotion. He would say that all the time as far as we're talking and moving around, me moving, that creates emotion. Purpose requires movement in our life. If you want to be following your purpose, it requires that we actually move upon that purpose, because what happens is that if we do not move, we become stagnant. Oh my gosh, when I was a kid, when we were in like 4th grade, behind our elementary school, there was this pond, right? And so there was this pond, and it was a stagnant old pond. And so our life science teacher took us out to the pond, and we're all 4th graders. So for me, I was like 9, 10 years old. Okay. And so we go out there and we look at the pond, the water, and it's full of pond scum and crap and different things as far as that, right? And in that pond scum, it was like, we're 4th graders. So like, ew, that's nasty, right? Ew. So my life science teacher said, Miss Harrison, man, I still remember, that's crazy. But Miss Harrison, she said to us that this water and the rushing water of like the rapids of a river, the rushing clear water like in Colorado, like Rocky Mountain High, Colorado, and water rushing down the rapids that's clear and beautiful, that they are the same molecularly as this water right here. The only difference between this water that's stagnant and pond scum and dirty and bugs and everything are flying in it, and the other water that's clear and rushing and beautiful, the only difference between those two is that one of them is moving. When we stay stagnant in our lives, we allow the pond scum to be on top of us. We allow the bugs to be there. We allow the dirt. Look, in order for you to be on your purpose, you have to be moving towards your purpose, because if you sit in your purpose and you don't do anything in it, then it dies. The same way that water was dead, the same way those things are there, the same way that's where all the scum, that's where all the dirt, that's where all the things that pop in and come in and get on top of you, that's where they are. That's where the problem happens in our life. I hope you understand this. I hope you can feel that and understand what I'm saying with that. You don't need a 5-year plan. You need a next step. Okay? Because when you take that next step, that moves you on your way of your purpose. I am so much better in a day when I have taken a step toward my dreams. Still, right now, it's my goal, my dream, my stated goal to be able to help 50 people get their stories out here in the first 6 months of this year. I still have days, even though I'm very focused on that goal, that I don't move toward that goal. And when I do that, I feel stagnant. I feel the difficulty of that. I feel it. I can feel it and see it in my heart. It's there. You feel it. You feel the difference between the rushing and the moving of water than being stagnant and being filled with dirt and being filled with bugs. Okay? I didn't build Epiphany Publishing from a perfect place. Far from it. My gosh, I could fill hours with the mistakes it is that we've made, with the issues it is that we've done. Okay? I am saved by grace that we're here at this moment. But we put together something that's a structure that works for us to be able to move, for us to be able to create, for us to be able to get it done, for us to be able to knock it out. We put together a structure that works for that now. I'm so thankful for that. But I built that from a place of urgency and alignment. So many times we think of urgency and we think of, and I used to teach about when I was on the road. You know, you think about not urgent and not important, Covey. Okay, the four quadrants, right? Urgent and important, urgent and not important, not urgent and not important, not urgent and important. Okay, those are the different quadrants that are there. So we think of urgency, and we think of urgency as things that we've let slide, because so many times in our life, I subscribed to this for most of my life, especially when I got to college. When I was in high school and grade school, I didn't have to worry about studying that much. I could figure it out. But I got to college, you sitting here, I'm trying to think about, I have a test. I knew I had a test that was coming up on Friday. You think on Monday I was working on that test stuff? No. You think on Tuesday I was working on that test stuff? You think on Wednesday I worked on it? No. You think on Thursday I worked on it? A little bit. But Thursday night at my college was party night. So then you go to the party. And so then what happens, I get home from the party at 1 o'clock in the morning and I have a test at 8, and now it becomes urgent and important. So I had that urgency that went on with that, and now I've got to study for this test. And it's so unfair that we had this test. Even though I knew I had a test, I could have prepared for the test. It still was urgent, but I could have prepared for that test in urgency and been able to move forward and been able to create and been able to go. That's where we are in our lives when we don't create that and don't do that. Okay? Understand that. So those 3 pieces. Understand. You can't heal what you hide. You can't heal what you hide. You can't heal it. It's just going to fester. Your pain has a platform. Purpose requires movement. So how did that apply to me when I lost my leg? Okay, you can't heal what you hide. It's absolutely true. All right, you can't heal what you hide. So I hid it, and so then it got to a point to where I couldn't heal it. Okay. But I didn't realize my pain has a platform. My pain has a platform. So if you understand that in your life, your pain has a platform with that. And then purpose requires movement. What ultimately required for me is for me to be able to move and for me to be able to go and for me to be able to do something. That's what ultimately was required of me in order for me to be able to move and be able to get it done. So the real question I have for you, what will you do with your story? What will you do with your story? Will you write it? Will you speak it? Will you own it? When we take ownership over the things that are in our lives, that is how we overcome them. That's how we move through them. That is how we thrive and not just survive. When we take ownership over it, when you share with other people, it allows for you to be able to really figure out your way. I became really great at HR by teaching HR. Working in it, I understood it. But when I started to teach it, being able to teach it, that's it. We look at that all the time. When we want to train somebody on something, you train them, you teach them, then you turn around, you have them teach you. Because when someone teaches you, then you gain mastery. I want you to gain mastery over the things in your life. I want you to gain mastery over the problems and the things that are there in your life. If mastery is something that makes sense to you, drop an emoticon in there. Drop a yes in my comments. If mastery is something that makes sense to you, because if you made it this far, then it has to be something that you're thinking about. We have to be thinking about how it is that we can create the mastery, how it is that we can get that done, how it is that we can knock it out. Look, you need to write your story. If you're truly ready to write your story, truly ready to move, I told you my goal, my stated goal in the first 6 months of this year is to be able to help 50 people be able to write their story. That's what it is. And so it's really important for us. It's really important for us to be able to figure out how we create that and how we do that. Look, for me, today is Schedule Sunday. So Schedule Sunday is all about scheduling the things it is I need to get done for the week. I used to be very lackadaisical about that. I have to be on point about that. That's really important. Okay. Monday is Magic Monday. Magic Monday for me is about being able to create the magic in my life and other people's lives and being able to do so. Tuesday is Talk About It Tuesday. Talk About It Tuesday is all about talking about what it is that we need to be able to get done, talking about it and talking about our business, with everyone that day. Okay. Wednesday for me is work at Wednesday. That's working in my business, not necessarily on my business. Thursday for me is Together Thursday. Together Thursday is about how is it that we can work together and be able to do it. Friday for me is Follow Up Friday. Follow Up Friday is about following up on all the different things that fell through my hands. And then Saturday for me is Sanity Saturday. It's been a great Sanity Saturday yesterday. Went with my son to the rodeo here. It's really, really, really great. The Bill Pickett rodeo. And so just being able to enjoy that and unplug and do so was huge. You have to take that time to unplug, be able to do so. Okay. So how are you going to turn your breakdown into a blueprint? How does this blueprint apply for you? Save this video. Watch it. We're going to cut it into chops and pieces as well too. Check it out. Be able to figure out how we're going to get it done. All right. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate all the people who watch on our replay as well too. I know we kind of bounce around with our time for this. I'm going to get on a solid time so that you can put it in your calendar and be able to say, this is the time we're going to be here, so we can have more people live with us. But I appreciate the people who are. Thank you, my guy, Brett. Brett, you're always here, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the shares and the different things that you share with me as well, too. All right. So you guys have a great, great night. I'll talk to you soon. My name is Ojin Your Car. I Jeremiah Chief. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.